victims are still struggling to understand how something like this could have happened. They say the couple was married for over 20 years and there was never any signs of domestic abuse. They even told me they didn't know a gun was in the home.
Total surprise.
Unexpected, like.
He adored her. Whatever Renee wanted, Chris would give it to her.
Marion Shaw is still coming to grips with the fact that she'll never see her oldest daughter, Teresa Adams Pugh, again. The family called her Ree.
Fun-loving, the life of our family party.
Marion says her daughter had 4 children and 15 grandchildren. They say Teresa was proud that her granddaughter Denia was heading to North Carolina A&T this fall.
She just wanted us to be the best we could be, like you could tell. Like.
The Johnston County Sheriff's Office says around 6:45 Saturday afternoon, their dispatch center received a call from 10 Cheney Drive in Garner. Investigators say the caller said nothing before hanging up, which prompted 911 communications to call the number back. That's when the Sheriff's Office says a man answered the phone saying he did not call 911. The dispatch overheard a woman in the background saying, "Why do you want to kill me? I need help." When deputies arrived, they heard a gunshot inside the home. 911 communications called the number back, and the man told them he would come outside to speak with officers. But when he didn't, negotiators tried to convince him to come outside. They ultimately had to obtain a search warrant to enter the home. And that's when they found 53-year-old Chris Pugh and his wife, 54-year-old Teresa Adams Pugh, a couple who loved ones say had been married for more than 20 years. The Johnston County Sheriff's Office is investigating this tragedy as a murder-suicide. And loved ones say they saw no signs of domestic abuse.
You would never, like my papa he never yelled at us or like there's no way you would have suspected. Like, he never yelled at us, whooped us, none of that.
He wasn't violent at all.
At all. You can't even say you seen him mad because I could count on my hand how many times
like
he was
they
mad one
fussed
hand.
in front of us, like
none of that.
Neighbors who didn't want to be identified say during the standoff, officers were asking residents to either evacuate or not come home.
I pulled up my Ring doorbell and an officer was approaching, just telling me, please do not come home. He wouldn't tell me what was going on, but just said, just don't come home and I will let you know when it is safe to come home.
And like loved ones of the victims, this homeowner was also in shock after learning what happened to her neighbors.
They kept to themselves, but very friendly, supportive with my son would have a lemonade stand and they would come support.
And now this family is left with questions as they are forced to grieve the loss of 2 lives forever.
Chris was a good man. I'm not going to say, but he just did the wrong thing.
And the family of Teresa Adams Pugh plans to lay her to rest this Saturday. They're making funeral arrangements right now. We're in Garner. Akila Davis, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Kol Holayim La, Abba Nawa Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakat Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners. And shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. Sirach, chapter 12, verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. And again, man, that's what we see continuously manifesting, continuously being brought forth as punishment, judgment, vengeance from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, because the ones that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is executing is those of our nation that aren't right. Those of our nation that continuously live in pleasure, continuously that live in the customs and the philosophies and again the structure of the world, man. Those that worship false idols, cleave on to these false religions that lead you to be destroyed, lead you to continue to be further disconnected and to be led further astray from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Because our people are sinners. Our people are completely against the truth and completely embracing this world, man. And as you always see, man, you know, Jake always has something nice to say about those that have received judgment from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, the father was nice, the daughter was nice, you know, this and that. They never argued, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And that word nice goes into, you know, various definitions or examples, or I should say like foolish, stupidity, ignorant, etc. Okay? But the Most High is placing his vengeance upon our people that just ain't right, man. Okay, and one thing that y'all must notice, that the video that I did yesterday was 2 news clips, and what do y'all notice? It was women getting judged by their men. Okay, you're literally seeing Israelite men judge their women. Okay, that's what you're literally seeing before your eyes. Israelite women getting judged by their men. So the Lord is literally warning you, showing you the signs that all hell's about to break loose. You're not going to be able to dial 911. You're not going to be able to say me too and persecute somebody in the judicial system. No, man. That peace and safety is going to be non-existent. That peace and safety, that security that this damn devil has given you women, you nigger women, you infamous nigger women for so long, will not be here anymore. Okay? And all the Lord is doing is purging out that leaven and completely taking out what's not going to be beneficial for his remnant. Matter of fact, let's grab that, because the Lord is purging out, you know, that lump that has been disrespectful, that has claimed Esau to be his God, his power, that embraces this world, and amongst other things too. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 6. Your glory is not good, because again, their glory is the glory of this world. They exalt, acknowledge, okay, proudly speak upon the things that they have accomplished in this world and the things that they have done, which is complete wickedness, which is complete evil. Okay? Because even though they go to the 501c3 slave plantation church, they say they love JC. And when you say you love JC, you basically saying you love the so-called white man. You love what the so-called white man has taught you. You love the so-called white man's doctrine. You love the so-called white man's way of rulership. And that leaves you completely converse, okay, and against Yahweh Shem Yahushua, if I'm saying the correct word, if I'm not Salakia. Contrary, let's say that. Okay, so again, and they glorify, and you know, their accomplishments in this world. Well, there's nothing wrong with you accomplishing things, man. But how are you accomplishing those things? How are you accomplishing those things? And are you acknowledging the truth that has been so long without fruit? Because everybody knows about the Israelites. Okay, 1 Corinthians 5 verse 6. Your glory is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? So the Lord is purging out that leaven from amongst our nation. Okay, 2/3 and that 1/3 remnant. And inside that 1/3 remnant, you got 144,000 governing body, man. So which one do you think the Most High is going to consider? Which one do you think the Most High is going to polish and protect? It damn sure ain't going to be the 2/3. As a matter of fact, I want to look up that word leaven real quick. So we're in the Blue Letter Bible. Leaven, which is G2219. Okay, Z2219. And it says here in the biblical usage, okay, mental and moral corruption. Okay, do you hear that? Mental and moral corruption, viewed in its tendency to infect others. Leaven is applied to that substance which is small in quantity, yet thoroughly pervades a thing by its influence. Okay, so that's what it is, because who's the main influence? Esau. Who has been teaching you? Esau. Who has been feeding you his doctrine? Esau. Who has been telling you how to go about life? Esau. And we know that Esau is completely against and the opposite of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So your mental and your morals are corrupted. So that leaven has to be purged. That leaven has to be executed. That leaven has to be judged. Okay, and that big ceremony is when the Lord sets this motherfucking place on fire. Okay, Jacob's trouble. Okay, you know, weeding you Israelites out, and some of you Israelites are going to be saved for the final hoorah. Okay, for the main execution, the second death. Okay, so we got that, and let's jump to Psalms chapter 9. Because again, man, at the end of the day, this is judgment from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Even though, you know, the husband took out the wife, and then the husband basically committed suicide. He basically pointed the gun on himself. Okay, so this is Psalms 9. And I'm going to start off at verse 7. But Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. Okay, because literally right now that's what you're seeing, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is on his throne, and it's literally being prepared for the great judgments that's going to be brought forth. But it's also judging right now. You know, as I always say and state, the Lord is just practicing. He's preparing for when he's going to let loose, when the prophets are going to be taken off for the streets, when the education, the edifying of the scriptures are going to be taken away from you. Okay, when the Lord's hand is pulled back and his mercy is no more. The only ones that are going to receive mercy are going to be the remnant, the elect, which we hope and pray to be. Okay, because right now the Lord's hand is out telling you to come back to him. And again, you know, we're the only ones that's going to come back again is the ones that's predestinated to receive this beautiful, beautiful song. Okay, Psalms 9 verse 7. But Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment, and he shall judge the world in righteousness. So, you know, as Jake always says, a sad thing, this and that. Yeah, he was a good person. She was a good person. Not in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Whoever perished being innocent. The Lord doesn't make any mistakes. He doesn't slip up. He doesn't make any errors. Everything is what? Righteous, just, and balanced. Okay, the Lord knows all. He sees all. He created all. Okay, and our people don't, as it says in Proverbs chapter 28 verse 5, I believe, the wicked understand not judgment, but those that seek Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai understand all things. That means everything. Okay, so what does that mean too? That means they understand the truth and they speak the 144% truth. Okay, and he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. And you know, right now the Lord is ministering through his prophets. Okay, because he has his prophets warning you. He has his prophets telling you how to avoid judgment, how to avoid punishment, how to come back to him, how to acknowledge him, how to reverence and glorify him. What you must do to receive protection, guidance, and amongst other things too. Okay, verse 9. Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, also will be a refuge for the oppressed and a refuge in times of trouble. And again, it's only going to be for the elect, because the elect are the only ones crying out. The elect, Lord willing, we are those vessels, the only ones out here, you know, sighing and crying for the abominations, complaining, sending up supplications, begging Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to destroy this place, reminding him what he said in our prayers, sacrificing ourselves to do this work in all seasons, not just no goddamn spring and summer, all seasons, reproving, rebuking, doing everything that's told of us to do in these scriptures, man, not holding back. Okay, verse 10. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. Now that's very important right there. You know, I had to read this because we have to know the name. Okay, the Lord is not going to acknowledge anybody that's not calling his name. Do you really believe and think that Yahweh Shai is really answering y'all prayers when y'all calling him Jesus Christ? Can you imagine how pissed and heated Yahweh Shai is every time he hears that shit? And especially for you Israelites that know the truth and continue to call him that, and y'all really think he dealing with y'all? And Yahweh too, Yeshua, Yahweh, all them names that really don't. Whew, man, I'm getting upset, man. Let me stay focused on what the lesson is, man. 'Cause I'm going to something else. Salakia. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, has not forsaken them that seek thee. And again, our people don't seek Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Our people don't seek to come back to their nationality that the Lord gave them. They go to their nationality that the fucking oppressor has given them. Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Puerto Rican, Jamaican, Savage, Indian, El Salvadorian. Okay? They cleave to that, but they don't cleave into being a Hebrew Israelite from their respective tribes, man. But let's continue. Okay, because you know, this Jake took his wife out, and you know, and as you heard the woman say, the mother of the daughter, Salakia. Salaki, as you heard the mother say of the daughter, okay, because that was the mom that was talking about her daughter. She was talking about the husband. He gave her anything she wanted, this and that and that and this. And see, that's the thing, man. Because you men, you Israelite men, and you other men in this world, you believe happy wife, happy life, which is bullshit. Okay, it's witchcraft. It's the philosophy of the so-called white man. You know, you bend your knees to your woman, but you don't bend your knees to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You don't put the Lord and his son first, man. And that's also pissing the Heavenly Father off, man. A lot of you weak, emasculated, no nuts, no backbone having men deserve judgment, deserve death, man. Okay? Because these women believe in their mind, even when they do something wrong, they still right for doing it. Okay? Proverbs 30 verse 20. Such of the ways of adulterous woman. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, starting off at verse 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And again, our people abuse this world. You know, the prophets, the ones that come back to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, we use this world to our advantage. And the Lord directs us in the right way to use this world. Okay, because we hate this world. This world is filthy, it's polluted, it's corrupted. As it says in Micah 2 verse 10, it shall destroy you with the grievous destruction, roughly paraphrasing. Verse 32, 1 Corinthians 7 verse 32. But I would have you without carefulness, he that is unmarried, care for the things that pleaseth the Lord, how he may please Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And that's true, man, because, you know, we dedicate our life to the Lord and we make sure that we're doing what's acceptable and pleasing to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai to the best of our ability, man. Because we don't want to go off. And if we do go off, we hope that we acknowledge it, learn from it, and repent and move forward and grow, increase. Okay, and even if brothers do have wives, you know, you have brothers that have the mentality that if they do have wives, they act as if they have none, so they can make sure that they're doing the work, to make sure that they're not transgressing, to make sure that they're on point with the Lord, because, you know, you want to make sure your household is going to be covered. Okay, so you can't put the Lord second. You can't put the Lord third. You can't put the Lord fifth. Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai comes first. Everything that you've gained, everything that you've got has come from Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 33. But he that is married care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. Now this Jake right here, as you see, the mom said anything she wanted, he gave her. Anything she needed, he gave her. It didn't matter what it was, because he put his woman before the Heavenly Father. He put his woman's needs and wants before his damn self. Because a lot of you niggas, man, you believe the bullshit that you learn in this world and what they taught you in these 501c3 churches, man. Happy wife, happy life. Your woman has to be happy. This and that and this. When it's actually the opposite, man. The woman's made to be a servant for the man. It's not to say that your woman shouldn't be happy, but goddamn, a marriage in this society, you're not going to be happy, man. You know, the marriage in this society really benefits just the woman. It doesn't benefit the man. Okay, so with this man doing all this stuff for his woman, something was exposed. Something came out. Okay, something that she did, whether she committed adultery, whether she was talking to a man, entertaining a man, whatever it may be, made this man flip and execute her, man. Okay? Because again, you giving your all to this woman. You working hand and foot to give her everything that she desires, everything that she needs. And then the one thing that she does, she's talking to another man because you're boring. Because you don't know how to tell her no. You want to continue to please her, man. See, a lot of these women say that they want stuff like this, but actually they want a man to actually, you know, tell them no, and to have some backbone, and you know, to have some to be austere. Salakia. Okay, and also too, to be a damn mystery, man. You can't be a pushover, man. Women like chaos and mayhem. They like excitement, man. You know, that brings drama and shit. But again, something was exposed and this man just snapped. Proverbs chapter 6. And that's when that judgment came forth. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 34. For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. And that's what happened, man. He didn't spare. And as you heard in the news clip, I'm assuming that she called 911. Probably saw him coming, or I don't know how, when I wasn't there. She hung up. They called back. He picked up. I didn't call y'all. And then in the background, she said, "Why are you trying to kill me?" So she was trying to get away from the dude, and you know, trying to get help from the police. Because again, as I said earlier, it ain't gonna be no 911, 1-800 Red Cave Gorilla come save me. No, the Lord is putting the spirit on these men to judge you women. And again, the video that I did yesterday, you had 2 Israelite men judge their women. So the Lord is literally giving you signs and showing forth that he's about to let these things go rampant. He's about to start having you women get judged. Okay, so again, Proverbs 6 verse 34. For jealousy is the rage of a man, because again, the main thing that makes a man jealous is another man fucking his woman. It's a woman being conquered and dominated by another man. Because again, marriage, even though I think they said they was married for like 20 something years, if I'm not mistaken, marriage in this captivity is just security for women. And again, it's a benefit for them in the long run. Because they can stay married to you for a year, 6 months, 5 years, whatever. And as soon as they wake up one morning and say, "I'm not happy," and to go file for divorce, they get 3/4 of your shit. Alimony, the house, the cars. Okay, and if you have underage kids, you got to pay child support for those, and depending on what type of situation of school and everything else, you have to pay for the private school, the necessities, the sports, anything the kids want to do. You know, it's all a benefit for the woman, man. Okay, so this woman had to be doing some shit behind his back involving another man. I'm not saying that's what it is, but you know, that's an option. That's a possibility. Okay, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. So whatever she was saying that time before he took her out, he didn't want to hear that shit. Because again, what happened? Let's let the Bible speak. For him to flip out and do what he did, man, something was revealed, something was uncovered. Luke 12 verse 2, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So he found out something that really pissed him off, that really hurt his feelings, to the point where, you know, the only way to resolve that matter was to execute her. Okay, was to literally take her out, man. And also, too, she could have, and again, these are just possibilities. I'm not saying this is what happened. Again, she could have been messing with another dude. And on top of that, she could have been telling him that she wants a divorce. She wants to, separate. Okay, because again, you know, we don't know per se what was going on before this occurred. Okay, but let's close out, because, you know, Jake knew he was done once he did what he did. That's why he took his life, because he knew that he was going to have to go to jail for the rest of his life, or, you know, depending on where they at, you know, he might have received a death penalty. Okay, but this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 verse 12. Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. So Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 verse 12. Seek not death in the era of your life. So the best thing for this Jake, he should have did, but, you know, again, we know everything is of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It was written out for it to happen like this. But the best thing that he should have did was just, you know, win his way. But, you know, again, in this society, this captivity, she would have got everything and left him with nothing. So he basically, you know, at the age you at, you got to start over again. Probably like 50 years old, 50 in your mid 50s, something like that. And you got to start all over again. Okay? But you took your woman out, and now the only way you see to resolve the situation is just to take yourself out. You know, you're seeking death with the work of your own hands, man. Okay? Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. And that's what Jake did, man. Jake took his woman out, and then he sought destruction with his own hands, because he didn't want to take accountability and suffer the punishment that Esau's judicial system was going to bring upon him, man. And also, too, more than likely, didn't want to face his kids. You know, because that's probably something that his daughters probably wouldn't have been able to forgive him for. Okay? So, but at the end of the day, we all know it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai judging this wicked ass place. But I don't want to write this out, man. I hope and I pray that this is edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true, sincere Aki and Wa'akwaf. So with that, I'm just going to say, Kol Holayim La, Abanawa Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakak Kwadash, Wathawada Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakak Kwadash, for putting the spirit on me, my elder apostles, elder bishops, elders, brothers on down, for doing these epistles to enlighten you, to inform you, to edify you, and uplift you through the power and spirit and words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. May the blessing and election and protection be upon you and your household. I don't want to Ratazah into the next one. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom.